Olivia Newton-John, the beloved actress and singer, has died at the age of 73.
Right before she lost her ability to speak, she was making jokes.
She lit up the screen, topped the charts, and inspired millions with her voice. But behind Olivia Newton-John's radiant smile was a life filled with chapters few have truly heard. You may think you know her, as Sandy in Grease, the voice behind Physical, or the face of Grace in the fight against cancer. But what if parts of her story were quietly tucked away? Stories not often spoken, moments that even her biggest fans never saw coming? This isn't just a tribute. It's a deeper look into a legacy built not only on fame, but on heartbreak, reinvention, mystery, and something quietly powerful she left behind. What really happened behind the camera, flashes, and gold records? Let's uncover the untold moments of Olivia Newton-John's life. Foundations of a legend. Olivia Newton-John was the youngest of 3 children in a family steeped in academic and scientific achievement. Her father, Brinley Newton-John, was a respected academic who had served as an MI5 officer during World War II and later became headmaster of the prestigious Cambridgeshire High School for Boys. Her mother, Irene Born, was the daughter of the renowned German-Jewish physicist Max Born, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1954 for his fundamental contributions to quantum mechanics. This intellectual and accomplished lineage laid the foundation for Olivia's strong personal values, particularly her lifelong dedication to education, science, and humanitarian work. When Olivia was 6, her family relocated to Melbourne, Australia, where her father accepted a position at the University of Melbourne. The move marked a significant cultural shift, but it was in Australia that Olivia would come to feel most at home. She was affectionately called Livy by family and friends and showed early promise in the performing arts. The Australian environment, with its open spaces and vibrant cultural scene, helped nurture her creativity and independence. It was here that Olivia began performing publicly and developed the early musical ambitions that would shape her future. Later, she would be known all over the world for her singing and acting. But Olivia's foundations were still in the intellectual heritage of her family. Forced exile from Nazi Germany and major contributions to theoretical physics were influences on her sense of resilience and social responsibility by her grandfather. Olivia would often talk about the strength that her mother, Irene, bestowed upon her, a quiet kind of strength and intelligence that imbued her with deep compassion and respect for knowledge and integrity. It was in this foundation that her philanthropic environmental efforts would echo in later years. She was born into a life of having one foot in the arts and the other in academia, in addition to this early life. She indeed had an increasing interest in music as a teenager, but Olivia respected learning and went to Christ Church Grammar School and later University High School, Melbourne, for further studies. In fact, early successes at talent contests, where entrants obtained prizes, mostly from local radio, were not dismissed, but supported by parents, an unusual mix of encouragement and discipline, by which in such early years she learned well to dream big without drifting off. These early years became the emotional and intellectual foundation for what would be a life marked by fame as well as a deeply profound purpose. But Olivia's story was only beginning, and fate had a far stage waiting for her across the world. Rise to fame in the UK. Olivia Newton-John's journey into music began in Melbourne, where her natural talent and charm were evident from a young age. As a teenager, she formed an all-girl group called Soul 4 with 3 school friends. They performed in local coffee shops and on community programs, giving Olivia her first taste of the stage. Her early influences included country and folk music, genres she would later blend into her own unique sound. Encouraged by her family and teachers, Olivia began entering talent competitions, which soon became a springboard for greater opportunities. At the age of 15, her life changed dramatically when she won a televised talent contest on the Australian show Sing, Sing, Sing. The prize was a trip to the United Kingdom, a pivotal moment that would launch her international career. Although hesitant at first, partly due to her attachment to her home in Australia and her then-boyfriend, Olivia ultimately made the move, encouraged by her mother, who believed in her potential. Leaving home so young was emotionally difficult, but it opened doors that would otherwise have remained closed. In the UK, Olivia started to record music and appeared on local TV and radio. Some of her early singles included a 1966 cover of Gordon Lightfoot's "If You Could Read My Mind." The song was not a commercial success, but it marked her entry into the professional music world and gave her some exposure within the industry. She also teamed up with fellow Australian artist Pat Carroll to form a duo dubbed Pat and Olivia. They toured for a time before Carroll returned to Australia. Olivia remained in the UK for solo opportunities. The early climb of her career faced challenges and some breakthroughs. With all these events at her tender age, she bore the resilience to walk her way into what can be a tough UK music scene, exhibiting a quiet steadfastness that would characterize her career. Producers and musicians started to stand by her and helped her along the road to her first real chart success in the early 1970s. And everyone believed that this early period of her life in Britain was crucial in setting up her artistic identity, drawing her path from a talented teen to an emerging international star with enough confidence to face the global stage. Breakthrough in music. Olivia Newton-John's rise to global fame truly began in the early 1970s when her solo career gained traction with a distinctive sound that blended soft pop, country, and folk influences. Her debut solo album, If Not For You, 1971, featured a cover of Bob Dylan's song of the same name, which became a hit in several countries and marked her first appearance on international charts. Olivia's gentle voice and relatable lyrics resonated with audiences, setting the stage for her unique cross-genre appeal. Her early success proved that she was not just a one-hit wonder, but a promising artist with lasting potential. In 1973, Olivia released Let Me Be There, a song that became her first major breakthrough in the United States. The track won her a Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance, a rare feat for a non-American artist in the country genre. This song, along with the album of the same name, established her in the American market and introduced her to a broader audience. Her ability to bridge the gap between country and pop music gave her a distinct position in the industry, especially at a time when genres were often rigidly separated. Her wholesome image and sincere delivery made her a fan favorite, particularly among younger listeners. In 1974, Olivia continued her momentum by competing in the Eurovision Song Contest with Long Live Love, representing the United Kingdom. Although she came fourth, the publicity cemented her international standing. That year, she also released her album If You Love Me, Let Me Know, which included the hit single I Honestly Love You. It has become one of her signature ballads and her first #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100. It further brought her 2 Grammy Awards for Record of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Performance, solidifying her position as a global pop phenomenon. Olivia kept rolling into the 1970s, issuing chart-topping albums and singles in the wind. She made her way equally between country and pop music. An amalgam of grace, warmth of voice, and the versatility of genres helped her to be a cut above the rest. During a period when female artists were often pigeonholed into particular styles, to be popular with both, Olivia did indeed make her a groundbreaker. Laying the strongest of foundations in this decade, she prepared herself for her future forays into film and an enduring reputation as a cultural icon. Grease and the iconic role of Sandy. In 1978, Olivia Newton-John took on the role that would define her career and catapult her into worldwide stardom. Sandy Olsen in the film adaptation of the Broadway musical Grease. Cast alongside John Travolta, who had recently risen to fame in Saturday Night Fever, Olivia initially hesitated to accept the part. At 28, she was concerned about playing a high school student. However, Travolta personally convinced her to join the project, believing her natural charm and musical talent would bring the character to life. The casting turned out to be a masterstroke, creating one of the most iconic on-screen duos in cinematic history. Grease became an instant global phenomenon upon release, capturing the spirit of 1950s Americana while resonating deeply with audiences in the 1970s. Olivia's transformation from the sweet, innocent Sandy to the confident, leather-clad version in the film's final scenes became a cultural milestone. Songs like Hopelessly Devoted to You, Summer Nights, and especially You're the One That I Want became timeless hits. The latter, a duet with Travolta, sold over 15 million copies worldwide and remains one of the best-selling singles of all time. Olivia's performance not only showcased her vocal versatility, but also her ability to inhabit a complex character with emotional depth. Besides the music and the fashion, Grease had far-reaching cultural effects and was often regarded as one of the most adored movie musicals ever. Part of the formula for the film's success, on-screen and off, lay in Olivia's chemistry with Travolta. Although known for platonic affection, they always insisted real-life friendship was very much healthy and respectful. It offered Olivia the possibility of being raised from music stardom into a worldwide pop culture icon. It opened further doors into film and entertainment. Grease remains, even until today, for its star portrayal. Sandy from Olivia Newton-John. The soundtrack still continues to sell decades later, and fresh generations find the film through streaming services and television replays. Olivia often spoke of the part with fondness in establishing her career and connecting with fans worldwide. In later years, she reunited with Travolta for various events and tributes, including costume recreations and charity appearances. Grease was something more than a movie. It was a moment in the cultural lifeline, and Sandy, of Olivia Newton-John, ranks among its most memorable characters. Chart domination and controversy. In 1981, Olivia Newton-John shocked fans and critics alike with the release of Physical, a bold departure from her previously wholesome image. Known for her soft ballads and girl-next-door charm, Olivia stunned the music world with this high-energy, provocative pop anthem. Originally written with Tina Turner in mind, the song eventually landed in Olivia's hands, and it became the biggest hit of her career. The lyrics, filled with suggestive innuendo, and the accompanying workout-themed music video caused an immediate stir. Some radio stations even banned the song due to its risque content. But the controversy only fueled public interest. Physical became an unstoppable success despite, and perhaps even because of, the criticism. It soared to the top of the Billboard Hot 100, holding the #1 spot for an incredible 10 weeks in a row, making it the longest-running #1 in the US during the 1980s. In addition, the song was at the top of the charts in Australia and Canada. Olivia was nominated for both the production and vocal performance of the song, and she won a Grammy Award for Best Video of the Year. Her career reached a significant milestone with the single's breakthrough success, proving she could reinvent herself and remain relevant in the rapidly evolving music industry. Crucial elements of Olivia's new image were played out with the music video for Physical. It featured aerobics, taut spandex, and a tongue-in-cheek storyline entirely in keeping with that new visiting fad, the fitness craze of the early 80s. The video went on to become one of those staples of MTV and mostly earned kudos for its playfulness, even while it was described as edgy. The switch on Olivia's part toward a more mature and empowered persona provoked discussion about the agency of women in pop. Instead of shying away from it, she has taken it on humorously and confidently, planting it right inside the bounds of broadening one's artistic barriers and reaching out to audiences. Physical finally confirmed Olivia Newton-John as more than a ballad singer or musical film star. It established her legacy as a pop powerhouse willing to evolve. The success of the song also carried her across the bridge between the 70s soft rock and the bright, glistening, synth-laden worlds of 80s pop. It showed how savvy she could be with media and marketing, striking out into both visual and musical trends. Many decades later, Physical is still amongst the most iconic songs of the era, continuously referenced and covered by artists as varied as Kylie Minogue and Dua Lipa. For Olivia, this was indeed a powerful reminder that her greatest strength could very well be her reinvention. Behind the fame and fitness craze, something far more fragile was taking shape: personal life, motherhood, and heartbreak. In the early 1980s, Olivia Newton-John met actor and dancer Matt Lattanzi while filming the musical fantasy Xanadu. Despite a 10-year age difference, Olivia was in her mid-30s and Matt in his early 20s. The two quickly developed a romantic relationship. They married in 1984 in a private ceremony and were often seen as an unconventional but affectionate couple. Olivia, who at the time was deeply invested in wellness practices like herbal tea, meditation, and healthy living, embraced their differences with optimism. Their relationship was widely covered in the media, especially as Olivia continued to rise in fame and Matt pursued his own acting career. In 1986, Olivia gave birth to their only child, Chloe Rose Lattanzi. Motherhood brought a new dimension to Olivia's life, and she often spoke about how becoming a parent grounded her and gave her life deeper meaning. She temporarily slowed down her career to focus on her family, prioritizing Chloe's upbringing and her marriage. Olivia maintained a strong public image of balance between fame and domestic life, presenting herself as a devoted wife and mother who was also dedicated to causes such as environmentalism and animal welfare. But from the beginning of the 90s, the facade of stability started unraveling. In 1992, just when Olivia was getting ready for a great comeback with her retrospective album Back to Basics, The Essential Collection, and an international tour, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. The shocking diagnosis led her to give up her plans and get treatment right away. Not only did her health suffer, but it was the beginning of her personal life soon tending to its decline. During this crucially vulnerable time, she found out that her partner had an affair with their close friend, Cindy Jessup, who used to look after their daughter. Although Olivia seldom aired her feelings about this event, it certainly was a watershed. That much is clear. It was in 1995 when they officially separated and divorced a year later. While the heartache was palpable, Olivia poured all her energy into both her daughter and healing. In interviews later, she revealed a deep sense of acceptance as she deflected the past. Through this trying moment, she reimagined her friendship with cancer awareness as well as her commitment to hopeful living. Regardless of circumstances. Olivia's Cancer Crusade. Olivia Newton-John's battle with breast cancer began in 1992 when she was first diagnosed just as she was preparing for a music comeback. The diagnosis forced her to cancel her album tour and shift her focus entirely to her health. She underwent a partial mastectomy, chemotherapy, and breast reconstruction, and she bravely shared her diagnosis with the public to raise awareness. Her openness at a time when cancer was still often stigmatized helped spark important conversations and inspired many women facing similar challenges. Olivia credited her recovery to a combination of conventional medicine and holistic approaches, including meditation, acupuncture, and a strong support system. At the end of Olivia's initial recovery, she became loud and visible in cancer research and wellness issues. She pursued her music and acting career while simultaneously committing herself to health causes. After the cancer recurrence in 2013, and then again in 2017, by which time the condition had metastasized to her lower spine, Olivia shared very explicitly about the broken pieces of her body and soul as a result of her journey through illness. Even when things looked like they could brighten up, symptoms only worsened. Her commitment was to continue living with gratitude and optimism. With her husband, John Easterling, to cultivate medical cannabis for pain and overall quality of life improvement, she often received the treatment with bitter words about avoiding heavier pharmaceuticals and on behalf of its larger acceptability in cancer treatment. The Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness and Research Center opened in Melbourne as a legacy of Olivia's commitment to cancer patients in 2012. The center was state-of-the-art and based on her ceaseless fundraising endeavors. Here, conventional treatment is harmonized with complementary therapies such as yoga, art therapy, and nutrition. This reflects Olivia's strong conviction that wellness is more than healing alone. It encompasses emotional, psychological, and spiritual care. The center is a model for patient-centered care and an abiding legacy of Olivia's health advocacy. Over the years, even in her last years, Olivia was a loud voice for those suffering from cancer. The star auctioned off personal memorabilia, a famous Grease costume, to fund research and wellness programs. She participated graciously in interviews and attended public events to advocate for love, hope, and early detection, despite the pain and progressive development of her disease. She chose to show 30 years of battling cancer, not by being conquered, but by being defined by great courage, compassion, and leadership. She took her fight worldwide, creating not just a body of work, but an entire movement. The mystery of Patrick McDermott. One of the most mysterious and heartbreaking episodes in Olivia Newton-John's personal life was the disappearance of her longtime partner, Patrick McDermott. A Korean-American cameraman, McDermott began dating Olivia in 1996, shortly after her divorce from Matt Lattanzi. The couple was together for nearly 9 years, and while their relationship remained mostly out of the public eye, it was widely known within close circles. In 2005, McDermott vanished during an overnight fishing trip off the coast of San Pedro, California. He was last seen boarding the boat Freedom, but failed to collect his personal belongings or check out at the end of the voyage. The circumstances surrounding his disappearance were suspicious from the start. Despite extensive searches by the U.S. Coast Guard and private investigators hired by Olivia and others, no body was ever found. The official investigation concluded that McDermott had likely drowned in a tragic accident. Olivia was devastated by the loss and later revealed that the uncertainty of not knowing his fate was one of the most painful experiences of her life. For years, she avoided speaking publicly about the incident, though she quietly supported efforts to uncover the truth behind his disappearance. From 2017, media reports were hinting at Patrick's alleged life in Mexico first under some other name. There were eyewitness accounts of investigative journalists and private eyes who alleged having seen him with a young woman in Puerto Vallarta and in the other towns of the Mexican coast. From the revelations of the insurance scheme along with some actions designed to disappear, the theory eventually gained steam that McDermott contrived his death to avoid financial problems such as crippling debts and child support liabilities. Some said the man had been living in hiding for over a decade, eluding authorities and the press. For Olivia, hearing news of Patrick's possible return alive was a fresh blow to the heart. Sad and heavy, of course, but she was not really surprised. At that time, she'd had a long time to come to terms with the fact that he was gone and had accepted in her own mind that he had died, pending any definitive proof to the contrary. While not in Olivia's nature to scorn Patrick, she had decided to disconnect completely. For her, Patrick was already gone. The saga had turned into a haunting chapter in her life, filled with sorrow, betrayal, and unanswered questions. But, true to form, Olivia worked through the dark times with grace, redirecting her energy toward healing, her music, and the causes she championed rather than obsessing over the ghosts of the past. The intrigue surrounding Patrick McDermott's disappearance nevertheless directed attention to other issues like mental health, financial desperation, and the burdens of public life. Some media psychologists have hypothesized that perhaps McDermott's alleged disappearance was actually an external manifestation of an internal crisis, one common enough for persons facing tuition debts and personal crises. Whereas celebrity romances nowadays are fodder for the media, Olivia's dignified silence contrasted starkly with that media frenzy. Instead of hitting the rumor mill, she displayed emotional maturity and compassion by saying, "He was a part of my life, and I hope he's at peace, wherever he is," in one of her rare interviews. It was that kind of nuanced answer about loss and grief that was not shaped by scandal, but by quiet strength. It has created even a stronger empathy for Olivia, giving the public insight into those hidden battles people endure: resilience, music, and final farewell. In her later years, Olivia Newton-John remained a beacon of strength and inspiration, even as her health continued to decline. After her cancer returned in 2013 and metastasized to her spine in 2017, she experienced increasing physical challenges, including a fractured sacrum that left her temporarily unable to walk. Still, Olivia maintained an unwavering sense of gratitude and resilience, choosing to focus on each day as a gift. She leaned on the support of her husband, John Easterling, who played a central role in her care by providing medicinal cannabis grown on their property to help manage her pain. Despite her illness, Olivia continued to create and connect with audiences through music. In 2020, she collaborated with her daughter, Chloe Latanzi, on an emotional duet titled "Window in the Wall." The song, released during the COVID-19 pandemic, carried a message of unity, healing, and hope, values Olivia had championed throughout her life. Their performance was deeply personal and resonated with fans who saw in it a reflection of Olivia's enduring optimism and her close bond with Chloe. The project also symbolized a passing of the torch, with Chloe stepping into the musical spotlight alongside her iconic mother. Until the last weeks of her life, Olivia continued to serve the philanthropic area, especially through the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness and Research Center. Her last public appearances, where she sent heartfelt messages from California, reflected a woman who embraced her final days with great style. Much of that time was spent in her garden, sending messages of encouragement to others to live with love and purpose. Her last days, dedicated to love, music, and spiritual comfort, taught us how to meet death with dignity. In honor of Olivia's legacy, this previously unreleased single was found in her archives in September 2024, 2 years after her passing on August 8, 2022. The posthumous song was revealed to remind the world of her endlessly cherished voice and the light she imparted through her songs. With over 100 million record sales, endless awards, and an immeasurable impact on cancer advocacy, Olivia Newton-John's last chapter was not only farewell, but a celebration of a life lived in courage, artistry, and unfailing love. Olivia's breaking down barriers of resilience once more changed the way dignitaries traversed terminal illness with transparency and grace. In contrast to many celebrities who withdraw from the limelight, Olivia kept stepping into the light with the fans who loved her, offering candid interviews and emotional posts on social media about her health journey. "Every day is a gift. We just need to remember that," reads the transcript of a video message from her in 2018. Her way of living shifted the whole cultural conversation regarding terminal illness, removing shame and fear while injecting empowerment and openness. And just when we thought her story had ended, it took one final, beautiful turn. Legacy of Grace. Olivia Newton-John's passing on August 8, 2022, at the age of 73, prompted an outpouring of tributes from fans, fellow artists, and global leaders. Her portrayal of Sandy in Greece and her chart-topping music left an indelible mark on popular culture. John Travolta, her co-star and longtime friend, expressed his grief, stating, "My dearest Olivia, you made all of our lives so much better. Your impact was incredible. I love you so much." Travolta further honored her memory during the 2023 Oscars In Memoriam segment, emotionally referencing their shared history. Beyond her entertainment contributions, Olivia was a tireless advocate for cancer research and holistic health options. The Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness and Research Center in Melbourne, which she founded, provided integrated care for patients by combining medical treatment with wellness therapies. An outpouring of tributes poured into the center after her death, demonstrating her deep impact on the cancer community. Among the many honors accorded to Olivia in recognition of her contribution to the world are appointment as Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2020 and Companion of the Order of Australia in 2019. The Olivia Newton-John Foundation Fund continues her legacy by supporting research into plant-based treatments for cancer. In 2024, a never-released song called My Dream was released posthumously, with proceeds benefiting her foundation. The legacy of Olivia Newton-John shines through from the celebration of her work and advocacy continuing today. Her dedication to compassion, wellness, and the arts will forever be a legacy that inspires and uplifts millions around the globe. Olivia Newton-John was a powerful figure, not only in music and health advocacy, but also as a source of resilience and grace among popular women in facing their personal and public struggles. Her life story became part of many larger discussions about the price of authenticity in an entertainment industry that, in many ways, remains hostile. Kylie Minogue, who herself battled breast cancer, called Olivia her guiding light in so many ways, artistically, spiritually, and personally. It was that embodiment of vulnerability and strength, regarding which more than one audience could easily relate, if not idolize, outside the stage as well as the screen. Her legacy remains in the education and public policy domains, shaping the integration of wellness into cancer care. Advocacy in Australia is contributing to how nationally important conversations are being shaped around the acceptability of that very treatment, the receiving end of which she considers herself. The Olivia Newton-John Cancer Research Institute continues to collaborate with scientists all over the world, with very recent studies already coming into fruition regarding plant-based oncology treatment, one area that resonates with her passion for marrying science and nature. Thanks for watching this tribute to the unforgettable Olivia Newton-John. If her story moved you, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment with your favorite Olivia memory, and subscribe for more untold stories of iconic lives. And don't stop here. Click the next video.